Garfield Wilson. I was born in Blount County, August 17, 1949. I grew up in Rockford, Tennessee, and you say Rockford and Alcoa. School I went to was, the first one was Booker T. Washington, which was an all-black school to 8th grade. Then I went 2 years to Hall High, that was in Alcoa, and then when integration, they had me to go to Everett High, that I graduated from Everett High in 1967. Yeah, it was exciting on one end, and for the parents that had been fighting, or let's say negotiation, or however you want to put it, that they had put forth an effort to have the children get the best education. Because we used to get books with people's names in them. We didn't understand that we were getting used books and stuff like that. So when we went to segregation, when we integrated, the parents was excited. But then the students had to go. And that's when we found that we had a lot of people that didn't want us there. And I happened to be on the football team. I was about 15 and 16. I graduated when I was 17, and I went into the military when I turned 18. So I went to Everett High for 2 years. And there was a lot of scrimmage. I had, tell the truth, I had 5 fights my first year. Okay? They would call the people and my friends out their name, and they would come and get me. And I would say, why are you messing with them? Okay? I don't like them. So we would have scrimmages and things like this here where that we were, and the principal, he understood, okay? And he understood what we were going through, our dilemma. But we played on the football team, and we had a great football team at Everett High. A lot of the football players was great. A lot of the students was great. But then there was a few that didn't want us there. And then there was the other ones that did. So when you look at it overall, I would say most of them accepted us. And we had I had a good relationship with the principal and with my teachers. I used to write them when I was in the military. So that's what kind of relationship we had. And the principal checked on me and all that after even I got out of school. For the rest of my life, he checked on me.
Did you go to school after high school?
Yes. I went into the military first. And after receiving the military, I was working for the Postal Service. Then I started going to school at night to better myself for my family. And I did that because I wanted to make sound decisions for my family. And without the education, sometimes you don't know when you got options. So sometimes we just given one option from a salesperson, but we don't understand the second or third options that we might have. So I understood that. So I went to school at Knox Business College, graduated there from honors, went to Walter State. I happened to graduate from honors, and I finished the University of Tennessee in business, in management, and operation with honors. So I was able to finish my education that I was, you say wasn't required to get a better job. It was, the education was to better me.
Did you serve in the war?
I was in the Vietnam era, but I trained troops and to go to advanced training from Fort Benning, Georgia.
So we're bringing it back to school. Do you have any fond memories from school?
Oh yes, I mean playing on the football team, seeing what the other side of the track was like, or the other side of the world, you call it. And it was exciting that through the fun memories that we had, parties and the dancing and And some of my, I don't call them, when I say you're a friend, I don't want to put color on it. Because either you're a friend, you're a friend. And I remember going to a dance, going to somewhere, and they said, I want you to bring a friend. I said, okay. So I did, and I got there, and they said, he can't come in. I said, why? He said, he's white. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, you know me, don't you? And I don't play around. He said, no, we do. He said, you're fine. I said, wait a minute. You told me to bring a friend. He said, yeah. I said, when do friends come in color? He said, they don't really. He said, let him in. After they let him in, they said, when you gonna bring him back? He said, he said, he is awesome. Okay, I said, I tried to tell you, he's with me. So these are some of the memories that I have, that how people judged and how that we made it through school. And we had a lot of fun back in the days. I'm not gonna say we didn't have fun, okay? Playing baseball, football, swimming, hunting, all these memories and things, and going out with the guys that on the football team. We had a great time.
Who was your biggest rival in school? Like your biggest school rival?
Yeah, Maryville High was a big rivalry, and Alco High against the famous Albert Davis. They called it Davis High then, but it's Alco Tornadoes, and it was the Maryville Rebels. They were one of the biggest rivals. I attended the A.M. Zion Methodist Church in Rockford. Okay, that's where I was sprinkled, or say baptized, at 9 years old, and I was an altar boy at 9 years old. Well, my father's name was Truman Wright Wilson, and my mother was Annie Mae Reed. And my parents and things, my mother was more from Jefferson County, and my father was more of a Blount County. My father worked for Alcoa Aluminum. He was a trucker or a carrier inside the plant. They call it a trucker, really, for Alcoa Aluminum.
What did your mom do? Did she just stay?
My mama was mostly a housewife, and she piddled in different, over the years when she was younger, she had a couple of small jobs and things like that. My daddy said keeping up with 7 kids was more than a hobby. It was a job and a half, okay? So most of the time is that their hobbies were our hobbies, what we did. Mostly get-togethers, birthday parties, a lot of events. Baseball games, and going to the baseball games, and having outings with the kids, more or less, and a lot of what you call special events, like around the holidays. My mother is this January, she turned 90 years old. Okay, so we will be going to have a dinner with her tomorrow, a special dinner, me and my sister.
Where is your father buried at?
He's buried at Sherwood. He is buried in, we call Alcoa. It's the airport mall at Sherwood Cemetery.
Did you know your grandparents?
Yes, Grandpa James Jim Wilson, he also worked for Alcoa Aluminum. And my grandmother was May.
Do you remember her
May
maiden
Wilson.
name?
Huh?
Do you remember her maiden name?
Hunter. Her last name was Hunter.
Where were they from?
I'm not sure where Grandpa Hunter did. I think they were really originally from Blount County, okay? But I'm not 100% sure. I was so young. Grandma May was a housewife, and she was married to James, and Jimmy, and he worked for Alco Aluminum, okay? And Grandpa Hunter, I think when I remember him, he was retired when I was staying with him when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Do you live in this area now?
Yeah, I live in Quarantine area in this area. I started going to church here in probably the late 70s, early 80s, and I joined Foster Chapel here April the 25th in 1982, and under Reverend Robert N. McGee and First Lady Betty McGee. They were from Blount County, so I started coming here. Although I was a Methodist, I started coming here and enjoying the services here. So then in 1980, we started in 1974, we started teaching martial arts to get the city kids or all the kids off the street, give them something to do. So Grandmaster Long asked me and Merritt Lee to come out, and we did not know it was that much work out here. So that was in 1974. So in 74, we were at the YWCA for 1 year. Then we went to the YMCA. They wanted us there. We had a great program with bringing in masters and boxers and a lot of things, but we could not get the help from the Y. They wanted us to do so much, and we said, look, this is not our program. This should be yours. If you don't, it's going to die. Well, all they did was look at us and said, okay. Well, that time, Oakland wanted us to come out. But it was a story because Mrs. McFarland, when they asked us to come out to the school here at the Oakland School, we've been there 41 years now, they was a little nervous because they thought that we were going to kick holes in the walls. So when they come in and we came in and they seen us in pajamas, like she called them pajamas in our gigs, and we didn't have no shoes on. And when she seen them line up and she seen they had to raise their hand to get water, they had to raise their hand to scratch, they had to raise their hand to go to the bathroom, and how they was polite and how they couldn't be on the walls, then she said, wow, I didn't think Kung Fu was like, they called everything Kung Fu. And she said, I did not know it was this discipline and they so clean. And she said, we want them here. So that's what got us here in Oakland 41 years ago, teaching martial arts to the kids. I started hand-to-hand combat and some in the military, but after seeing things of like what Bruce Lee could do with his body and how he could change things, it excited me more. So I started training under Grandmaster Harold Long in Ishinru Karate. I have attained the title now, I am a Grandmaster. Okay, I hold a 10th degree and a 9th degree black belt. Okay, it's always striving to be better. It's a tight-knit community to a certain extent, and it used to be where everybody was called. This was called the friendly community. It was really when you came in and everything used to be on even on the bulletins, old bulletins, that this was church in the friendly community. Okay. They treated everybody with respect when we came in. They talk to you, they speak to you, they hug you. In other words, they wanted you to be here. And they really meant it, okay? So the experience here has been really good in the back end here. If it hadn't, I wouldn't be here I would still be at that school for 41 years. Still teaching, we still have it.
What school is that?
The Karate 5 school.
Oh, okay.
We at the Oakland old school, and we've helped preserve that, keeping drugs out, working in the community. We do benevolence, we do scholarships, we do backpacks back to school for the kids, and we take them on trips. We take them to trips as far as Pennsylvania, Virginia, bus, because we want them to see more than just Oakland or the inner city of Knoxville. We want them to experience some things that aren't normal kids should experience. Excitement, different. I enjoy all of them, but I think the most of them would be when we get together for Christmas dinners and activities for the students, and participating with the church in our Christmas dinners and promotions that we have.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you do involving the church?
Yeah, first I was on the finance committee, and then I was asked to, because of my background, been in the military with bookkeeping, my education, and being in the finance department for the Postal Service. I was on the finance committee. I was a deacon, and I was ordained. But in being that, ordained deacon, I enjoyed working with people. But when I got into finance, it really did something different for me. I feel like I was called to do finance. So I was a finance director, and I was the treasurer and accountant for 20 years. So then I was the FCBC, that was the community development that I was part of, that helping with the getting things in the community done, like this church when it caught on fire, and the houses that we had, and the property that we acquired. So I was able to be instrumental for the Lord to helping structure a better financial program for the church. First of all, Reverend McGee, and especially his wife Betty, they were very instrumental. I mean, real people. Okay, and I had a lot of good teachers that were here, deacons. You look at Harold Chandler, it's a lot of them that really lived the life and wanted to do better and wanted to show that Christ was the head of their life. And that was instrumental for us to not only look at the Bible, but look at other people and how they were treating you and how they were treating others. And although we were striving to do better, yes, there was issues, but we were striving to make this a better church and trying to make it a better community. It's been exciting working in the community. Yes, I'm in a lot of different Hall of Fames. My wife is in Linda Wilson. She's a master, and she's in the Hall of Fame.
What are these Hall of Fames that you're in?
Hall of Fame is where that they vote for you and the masters that's on the board. So when one of them is 10, and out of that 10 you got to have 7. Well, most of the time we have gotten 10 out of 10 to where they vote you into the Hall of Fame. And that means that that's about as high as you can go. And that is that they are respecting your knowledge, which you attributed to the martial arts, how that you lived your life, what you have done for your community, what you're still doing for your community, humanitarian awards, helping with children, being a parent to a lot of the kids, being responsible. So they look at all those aspects, and especially what you attribute to the martial arts. And then they induct you into the Hall of Fame. It's not easy getting in.
In this, which Hall of Fame is this?
This is the Isharu Hall of Fame. And I'm also in the World Union Hall of Fame, the Action Hall of Fame in New Jersey, and then the awards from all the different Ishiru associations that I'm also belong to the International Ishiru Association here in Tennessee. Okay, I'm part of that too. History it's always been sometimes manipulated and erased and one side told. This is good to hear what anyone has to say that their experience with history and how that this can be from now on be part of something that has not been manipulated, has not been erased, but has been exemplified to where that it is better, to where that we see what people went through and how that has affected this community and how it affects people's lives. So it means something to me to see you all here doing these interviews and looking at what everybody has to offer and what the community has had to offer, what the Lord has provided, and also what the people have listened to. So this makes a difference to me to be part of this because it's important for us to have a trueness of history and not for it to be erased and not for it to be leaving this out, leaving that out. This is good.